This is a cupping video that I'm producing, and it's in conjunction with ACU supplies. So we've got our cups here. Now they come in this lovely little drawstring pouch, and you have the cups, but you've also got a little exfoliating massaging tool too. Now I wanted to show you the clear ones that we've got set out, but these are the blue tinted cupping set. Everything's exactly the same, they're just blue tinted. And then the third set is a really nice pink tinted set. So again, this is how it comes to you when you order it, and everything's exactly the same. The difference being that your cups have a pink tint to them. But I find cupping, it's something that I haven't done for years. The best way I can describe it is, for anyone that's never experienced it, is it's like you're creating a very gentle vacuum. So you can always clean them so easily. Just clean them in hot soapy water. That's your little exfoliating massager tool. That warms up the skin for you and also helps to cleanse it. You can either hold it, like you see there's a little space for your finger just to pop through and do your massage, or you can just hold it normally with your fingers. As you can see, it's so easy. You can do circles, you can do strokes, very convenient to use. We're using oil with it for our suctions today because the oil gives you the slip and slide that you need. And then what we do is just use the massage applicator, the exfoliator. It's got these very, very soft, when I say bristles, it really isn't bristles. It's just really, really soft, and it's warming up and prepping the tissues. So easy to use. Just, you can even use it, you can suction it as some people do, just to the side of the shower. Like, it's just so easy to use and it doesn't hurt at all. But we can just use that to apply the oil. And then our little cups, our little vacuum cups if you like, we just use the two larger ones on larger spaces and the two smaller ones on little delicate areas such as round the eyes, round the mouth, round the nose. And what you're basically doing is you're pulling just along the skin. Now you can actually hold it suctioned in, but you wouldn't want to do that. So I'm going to actually suction it on my skin just now and let you hear the pop. So you wouldn't want to keep it on the skin because you could cause yourself a bruise. I'm just showing you how that looks just now. But what you do is you very gently squeeze it, create a suction, pull it along in the direction of the lymphatic removal or the circulation, but you're always moving to a lymph. And then when it's at that destination, you lift it away, and sometimes there's a little pop. So a little squeeze, move it along, release. Sometimes there's no pop, sometimes you can definitely hear the pop. But you need a little bit of oil, a massage medium, and you can move them both together or individually or alternately. But they're just a great massage tool that can help to boost circulation. You can squeeze and turn. You can very, very gently squeeze, turn and lift just to get some circulation and some stimulation into that area. And it's exactly the same with the little ones. The difference being, again, you've got far more control with those little ones. So again, squeeze. Don't hold it as I'm doing. That's just a demo because you would leave a mark. You could leave a little raised mark and possibly bruise. But just apply to the skin, squeeze, travel along and massage, release. So you can get quite relaxed listening to the little pop when you release it. But again, you don't necessarily have to hear that for it to be effective. But that stimulation really does work in a massage. And I'm now going to demo a facial massage using both the larger cups and the smaller cups. And we're going to warm up the tissues using our little cleanser / exfoliator tool. So I've got my oil here, and it's any oil that you'd like to use. So it can be a plain oil, it can be a specialist facial oil. And what you're doing is you're just applying it to the tissues just to warm them up. And you can do a little bit of manual massage and just make sure that your client starts to feel relaxed and starts to enjoy the process. Now we've just went in straight away to do this massage, but it can be incorporated into a full body treatment. It could be incorporated into a very relaxing facial. You could add it to a specialist massage where you just add your element of cupping. And now I'm using our little tool, our exfoliator / cleansing tool, to warm up the tissues and help spread that oil. Now, it'll very, very gently start to boost the circulation. Now, you could use one on each hand. I'm alternating just now. There's one in the kit. But if you wanted to buy multiple kits, then you could easily have one in each hand and do it that way. But you can't really go wrong if you know a basic facial massage routine. And remember, we're working on a client here, but these kits are designed also to use on yourself. So you can do your circles, your frictions, your effleurage, and you can do this on yourself. Just follow the demo, or if you're working on a client, just incorporate it into the massage routine in the format that you already have been trained and you know how you want to work from the shoulders up. So we're just warming up the tissues and the skin and the muscles on the neck. And this little tool, it's super soft. Even though it has these bristles, they are so soft and delicate that they are having multiple effects on the skin because they are very gently starting to boost the circulation, but they are also extremely mildly exfoliating. They're helping to move that massage medium. For us, it's a cell renewal treatment oil, so it's starting to help that oil absorb into the skin and start to work. But again, it's also helping to, if you wish, cleanse the skin too if you are using it with a cleansing product. But either way, it's an extremely handy tool. Just pop your finger in the little hole. You can just use it to move over any areas that you want. It's got the guide. If you don't want to do that, just use it with your thumb and index finger. Hold it that way. And as we said, it's got the little sucker at the end, so if you just wanted to keep it just in the bathroom handy, I read that a lot of people do that just as a convenient way to store their tool. So many different uses for this. And once you're finished using it, just clean it with warm soapy water. But as you can see here, it's part of the massage. It's just an extension of the hand. It's moving with the hand. We're not having to move with it. It's completely malleable and it moulds to the skin. So then what we can do once we're finished is just make sure we've got a nice even coverage of that oil and we can begin. So remember, when we're using our cupping equipment, all we do, now you'll see better on the face, we're just working on the clavicles here, on the neck and shoulders, but you just start, little squeeze, you'll see that the skin just very, very gently lifts from the tissues there. Squeeze, work to your nearest node, release. And again, it's the magic, if you're not sure, the magic 3 times across an area. Now, we never work directly over the heart. We're not going that low on this treatment anyway. You're always working to a lymph node. With the lymphatic system, there's nodes all over the body. So if you're really not familiar with that, then just follow a basic routine. But again, if you're comfortable and you know where your nodes are, then just do the routine that you're comfortable with. Because we're boosting the circulation, and you'll see this when you can really see it working on the face, you should start to see redness, which we know is erythema. What's also happening again is very mild exfoliation. What you're doing essentially in cupping is it's moving into deep tissue massage territory. So you're not severely, but you're very delicately lifting the tissues away from the underlying structures, but we're doing it in such a mild, controlled form that you can't cause damage. You would have to be extremely heavy-handed and very careless to cause damage, but it would be very hard to do that with this ACU kit because it's been designed to make it as simple to use as possible. Then you might start to see, yes, can you see here? So you squeeze and then you very, very gently move to the node, which here is behind the ear, and then you release. Now, depending on the tissues, you sometimes hear the pop and you sometimes see very easily the skin that's lifted, and other times it's much, much softer. But there'll be certain parts where you can really see the tissues lift and you can see the little suction into the cup. And remember the pop, I'll just demonstrate the pop again. So sometimes you hear that pop, sometimes you don't. Now when you're using your massage medium, it feels, if it's you doing it to yourself or if it's a client, it feels like an extension of the therapist or the extension of your hands, but it's a bit firmer. So you do actually feel a slightly firmer, more controlled pull than if it was just your hands. So we're going in with the two smaller ones on the neck now. And the reason I decided to use the two smaller ones is you don't want to obstruct the windpipe or make yourself or a client feel as if you're pushing on their throat. It's not a nice sensation to push on the throat. So try to never work in the centre of the neck. Always stay away from the absolute centre of the neck where it's the windpipe, because that's not a pleasant experience for somebody to apply any pressure to that. It's not pleasant. So just avoid that little area. But then look here, we've got our little suctions. You can see that quite well there. And again, sometimes if you go to squeeze and it doesn't quite catch, just try again. Sometimes you've got the suction, but halfway through the movement you lose the suction. That doesn't matter, because you're still encouraging the lymphatic flow. You're still encouraging the removal of any stale or stagnant fluids that might be puffing up the face. This is what the facial massage is all about. This is what you're doing. You're helping to boost the blood flow. So you're bringing fresh blood filled with nutrients to the surface. You can start to see the redness in that area. It doesn't hurt, but it does feel firm. But it's a pleasant firmness on par with when you get a really nice massage that just feels right. You don't want a ticklish massage. You don't want such a light touch that it's more of an irritation on your nerve endings. You want them to feel stimulated and soothed, but you don't want them to feel irritated. And that's why something like the cupping is a great pressure. Now, I used the large ones because you can also use them. It's your choice here. You have control. So you can see here we've got the suction. Now, if you use the small ones or the large ones and you're not loving the result, that's when you can switch from size to size and see what you prefer. Also, depending on the age of the skin, the muscle tone, the skin tone, the skin texture, you might feel as if you need to switch from cup size, because you might feel as if you're dragging. You might feel as if the skin's quite loose, so you don't want to use the large cups because you don't want to feel as if you're pulling loose skin. If someone's a bit older, they don't have the same tone. So if you felt that you were really pulling the skin away from the underlying structures and it felt as if you had no control over the massage, then switch to the smaller cups. I like it here when it's on these lines on either side of your mouth. And they're called the nasolabial folds. It's quite good just to get a little boost of circulation there, because on different people they can be quite defined. Again, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's lifestyle, other times it's just how much you actually use your face. If you're very expressive, you can start to have some lines in certain places. So whilst we cannot say that cupping helps to remove wrinkles from the nose or the eyes, what we can do is encourage blood flow, encourage circulation. Use a product that works well, designed with this, to help see improvements. And if you use your cupping massage in conjunction with facial yoga and you look after yourself, you may start to see results. But we would never say use this and you will remove all signs of aging, because that we know that there's way more to it than that. But you never go directly over the eyebrows. You don't work directly beside the nose because it's a very bony structure. You don't want to work on the nose because you really won't be able to get an effective result there because of the bony underlying structure. Plus, it wouldn't feel nice. It's a bit like the throat. It would be constricting the breathing. So don't work directly on the eyes. Don't work directly on the eyebrows. You would struggle on the eyebrows. And also not directly on the nose, but around the eyes where you can feel the orbital bone. Don't go any further than that. But as you can see here, we're working using the small cups on the forehead, and we're just taking our time. And again, if you suction and then you lose the suction, just come back and do it again, but always be working towards those nodes, because that is helping to flush out that lymph. All the waste product, any stagnant fluid, you know what it's like in your face. You can get puffy, and they always say if you've got puffiness, one of the first things you can do is really try and encourage the removal of that lymph. If you need to drain any fluid from puffiness, if it's in the sinuses, under the eyes, just proceed. Obviously use your common sense and don't go too close to an area that you know you would irritate. So we're just working along, and it gives a lovely stretch on the forehead too, a really nice stretch. And you can do some alternating movements. Now you don't necessarily need to pull up to suction if you want to do those. You can just use the tool because it's such a soft tool and a malleable tool to use. And then of course we can swap for the bigger cups again, and you can see if you want to just use those or even one at a time, you can alternate. But if anyone's familiar with vacuum suction, the principle is the same. This is just like a manual version of that. And with this cupping, it's something that you can easily do at home. It's easily affordable. A vacuum suction machine costs well into the hundreds with your glass ventouse, which are quite fragile. I would much prefer, if I'm going to a client, use these. They're so portable, they're so easy to use, they're hygienic. I mean, look, that's us just 10 minutes on the face. That's 10 minutes once or twice a week is perfect, and it feels like a real treat too. So it's something you can easily use on yourself or incorporate into any salon treatments. And then we can see we've got our erythema here, where we can see that we've brought some fresh blood to the surface. And then to finish, you could just do a little bit of manual massage, or if it was yourself, you could just tissue down your skin if that's your product on for the night. But just relax the skin, soothe the skin, and then just give your tools a clean. Just hot soapy water, let them air dry, and then they're ready to use again. So easy, so convenient, and ACU supply, I really did find these a pleasure to use.